All on, mister?
All on. So she says. We'll see.
It's you.
We'll see. Alrighty, so 2.5 weeks ago, I did an experiment on our zucchinis. As you can see, worked about half. We got 3 plants that survived out of it. And we did get several zucchinis, but it's time they get rid of. We're going to yank them out of here. So what I'm going to do is cut these suckers out. Always wear gloves when I'm cutting out zucchinis because they're pretty bristly. Pretty nasty.
Now, why did you cut it instead of pull it?
Well, I was going to cut it, but I didn't. I pulled it, but it broke off. Because I like to keep the roots in the ground.
And why is that?
Because they break down in the ground. They break down in the ground. They actually till for you. The microorganisms are attached to the roots. For these zucchinis, it's pretty well rotten. It doesn't make any difference, but there's still roots down there. I don't like to pull the roots. I like to let them in. Normally, like up there a couple weeks ago when our green beans was done, I just took the mower in there and mowed them down and then put a cover crop in. I didn't even rake it up. I just mowed it with the mower as low as I could mow it with the push mower. Just like to let the roots in there so they break down in the soil. They came from the soil, just let them there. Yeah, I don't like to till, so that's what I use. Little roots there because that's so rotted up it wouldn't even cut. This one here does actually have a little small zucchini on it. Not real big, but it's good enough to eat. They're good raw too if you ever care. The only roots I pull out of the ground is weeds. It's hollow. That's because there's vine borers digging through there and eating. That's why they died. Squash bugs. That's why they're all mushy, like right there. There ain't enough left of that. The roots are still a little bit there, but the stem itself is dead. Dead beyond dead. I think this experiment would have worked, trimming them back and putting the diatomaceous earth down. I thought I did it sooner, but some of these are pretty solid yet. But that being said though, zucchini only lives so long, they only produce so much. And we got a lot of zucchini off these. These are our patty pans and they're pretty well done for as well. I'm going to get them out of here too.
How many plants was in there?
This is only one plant. A couple of those are the same way. We only really had two good plants out of them. So right now I'm just going to throw these over the fence. Throw these over the fence, and then we'll take this up and then we'll put a cover crop down. So. And I'll go through and take the rest of this up, and then I'll put this cover crop down. So as everything else, we get stuff from Johnny's. This is our weed seeds. We bought this. We bought a couple other. This 5-pound bag. This will last us quite a while.
It's not focusing.
It probably isn't focusing. If you back further, it might. So what it is winter rye, field peas, hairy vetch, crimson clover, ryegrass, annual ryegrass, inert matter, which I don't know what, and 0.01% weed seeds. So it's basically annual ryegrass, crimson clover, hairy vetch, field peas, and winter rye. Everything else is inert or weed seeds, but inert matter is 0.25%, so and the weed seeds is 0.01%, so it's not enough to care about.
And what's them seeds do for the soil?
Well, the rye kills weeds. It's got something in the roots that actually stops weeds from growing. The field peas, hairy vetch, and the crimson clover are all legumes, so they'll all fix nitrogen in the soil. Basically, I want this for biomass. So when come springtime, we'll have this. We'll just crimp it over or mow it down or whatever, and we'll just let it rot up right here in this bed. And I'm gonna try not to use too much compost this year. I want to start going with cover crops. I did actually, some of this, there is some in here, because I bought a bag of tillage radishes, and I've mixed it, the last 2 times I used this, I mixed it in with the cedar, and I dumped whatever was left in it back in here. So there is some daikon radish in this as well. And they're just radishes that get real long. Actually, supposedly go down into the soil and break it apart. We just got an earthway cedar. But I got the popcorn plate in there. It seems to work about the best for these weeds, for these cover crop seeds. I've harvested a bunch of seeds from mustard we had growing, but none of us dried out enough to harvest them. So they claim mustard seeds will help kill the cucumber beetles and the squash bugs and all that crap that's actually in this soil. So this bed's 5 foot wide. I'm not sure what I'll put in this bed next year, but it won't be zucchinis. And I have the depth set for about 3/4 of an inch. Pull off the kickstand. And I always like to spin the front wheel and make sure it's dropping seeds before and it is. It's dropping seeds. Raise that back up. 3/4 of an inch. So all I'll do is walk down there and back 6 or 7 times probably. And that right there is pretty much it. So hopefully it rains. It looks like it's gonna.
It's sprinkling.
Yeah, hopefully it does rain so this gets rooted in good. There's some spots that needs a little more tilth in the soil. I should have raked it probably and got my Stirpo out and loosened it up a little bit on the surface. So there's some spots that was pretty hard this year wanted to dig in. But for the most part it's pretty loose. You know, if you watched me put the compost down and put them down, you see me just pull it up. And that was probably a half hour is all longer it took to do all that work we just did. So flipping the bed's pretty easy when you use that stuff. Even if you don't, even if I wouldn't have had that fabric down, well, of course, on something long term like that, I would put it down regardless. But like the spinach that I did earlier this year and green beans that we did a couple weeks ago, I just mowed it down, left all of it lay, and cover crop right into it. So that's how we do.
And it works.
Yeah, it seems to work pretty good for us for the most part, but we have some issues here and there. We got some bug issues, but who don't really? We're just trying to build the soil up a little better. So I think that's going to wrap this one up. So next video after this is going to be harvesting onions, and we got some very nice onions, so make sure you stay tuned for that one. If you're not subscribed, please do so, or you might miss the next video. We've got lots of tips and tricks in the videos we got. I got like 140 videos out now. So if you like it, please like it, please subscribe. Until next time, take care and God bless.